Nation, nation, nation. I haven't smoked in front of you guys in a long time out of respect, but I have to post a response to a video that is currently sweeping the community. One that you should certainly watch because it has damn good information and it presents probably one of the biggest arguments right now that is going forth and going through the community. Whether it be simply through the fan base to potentially up to the reviewers themselves. And I'm also posting this response video to kind of clear up my own personal opinion on the matter. Deathcore is metal. A video that is currently sweeping the nation from Count Blackroth, Sean. Love this guy. Love this guy's reviews, and I actually support this opinion 100%. But coverkillernation, you talk shit on a lot of deathcore bands, you talk shit on a lot of deathcore music, you barely review it very, very, pleasingly or with high numbers and things like that. You typically just tell them all to fuck themselves. How in the world can you actually be on this side of the argument claiming that it's actually metal? Well, because it is. Deathcore is one half death metal, one half hardcore if you're going simply based on name value of the subgenre alone. Death metal. The word metal's in it. And there's all the metal traits, all the metal principles, all of the metal, requirements that you could possibly really need in order to establish deathcore as a genre itself. I mean, think about it. Think about these bands. There is a reason why these guys are in a metal section at a CD store. It's because they are metal. They definitely have a harder edge to them. They definitely, with the growling lyrics, the screaming, the uber aggressiveness, have that metal tendency. The down-tuned guitars, the very ugly noises that are spawned by them, they're not ugly because they're necessarily displeasing to the ear. They're ugly because they have all of the marks, all of the trademarks of both styles. Just because a band has a breakdown in their song doesn't necessarily mean that they aren't metal. Now, of course, I have talked a lot of crap about a lot of bands, but I've never said, why are they in the metal section? I've always said, why are they relevant? I've always said, what's the allure? What's the big catch? What's the thing that is missing from my brain that doesn't allow me to enjoy these bands? I've never questioned their metal, or them being metal or not, whether or not they belong in the genre, because, well, I will say with some of them, sadly they do, but these others do. These are all bands that are doing exactly what other bands are doing. They're crafting a style of music that they love. They're part right now of a revolution that has swept the nation and has really gotten a lot of people into the heavy metal genre that perhaps would not be a part of it otherwise. And not to mention these bands also, while the fans may not go any further than the deathcore genre, they still have done metal a lot of good. They've definitely opened a lot of people's eyes to this genre and have allowed them to, if they choose to, explore it with a lot more frequency, with a lot more depth, and perhaps become one of us, basically. See, by saying that deathcore isn't metal, you're doing something that basically I made a video about saying not to do. I said, be a fan, don't be an elitist. Being an elitist is doing something like this and targeting a whole entire subgenre and saying it's not metal. It's like saying gent isn't metal. I know that would piss a lot of people off, but gent is metal. Gent is 100% metal. There's the argument about metalcore, whether or not it's metal or not, or if it really belongs in the hardcore department. We're splitting minor hairs here with that argument. For real. We're really splitting some very, very tiny hairs. I'm not really sure if that really matters. I really think that it could coexist as both harmoniously. Now, whenever it comes to the pop-punk stuff that happens to have some growls and things like that, that's where the line becomes a little bit more well-defined. That's where the line becomes a little bit better seen. But either way, to say that deathcore isn't metal, to say that something, anything, isn't metal simply because you have a large and profound dislike towards it is sheer lunacy. It's idiotic. It doesn't support the genre. In fact, if anything, if I were somebody on the outside looking in, trying to get into this heavy metal thing, trying to get into this genre of music that these reviewers on the internet have been telling me so many great things about, But then I saw a lot of fans, a lot of people, a lot of little, little mouths saying that this isn't metal, this is metal, this isn't metal, this is metal. While I do enjoy seeing that sort of passionate debate, it's the wrong kind of debate. You should be debating about what songs are the best. You should be debating about, why this band is better than the other one. It's all just opinion. And really saying that deathcore isn't metal is just an opinion. I can definitely support that argument, but whenever it's being done in a mass, whenever it's being done in a very mob-like fashion, whenever it's something that is really hurting and decaying the idea of being in the genre, I can't get behind that. Sean, I want to thank you very much for opening, hopefully, a lot of people's eyes. And I also hope that through this video, many of you will understand that just because I bash a band, or just because I do a rant video on a band, doesn't necessarily mean that there is a lacking of respect, or I'm questioning their metalness. Questioning metalness is pretty much a really lame argument. Mainly because it sounds extremely juvenile just from the basis of it. And in reality, if you're going that deep into it, and you're really, really trying to split that many hairs, to the point where some of these bands that you're calling not metal are almost impossible to define without putting the word metal in it. It just is not a good argument to begin with. Count Blackguard is a guy who definitely deserves your subscription. He's a gentleman that is really starting to push a lot of those boundaries. He's starting to really talk about a lot of key issues. And he's somebody whose reviews, while they are of many underground bands, and do tend to have a little bit of a penchant toward the black metal department, they definitely have a lot of depth. They have a lot of reality. He's a gentleman who, since he is in a band, is able to become and be very technical. Something that I am, unfortunately, unable to always do. He also definitely deserves your subscription because of a video like this, where he examines an opinion and retracts it with one that probably won't be that popular with those who made the initial opinion, but he just doesn't give a fuck. That's why I have all the respect in the world for him, and I have a feeling that's the reason why he has a lot of respect for me. That's the reason why this community, at its core, is so tight-knit. So definitely check out Count Blackguard's video. There's going to be a link in the description box. You should follow it. You should see this video. It's important.